I'm Davy, and I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies that I love. The alternative, B-rated, cult-style flicks. So it's time to get to the sort of fifth and final installment in a saga of movies that I review that have actually been my most popular reviews. This one was made in 1993, 3 years after the fourth. And it was directed by Bobby Jean Leonard, and written by Greg Latter, by John Bryant, and George Saunders. Produced by Video G Asonites, made and distributed by the Cannon Group and Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, the kind of sort of in name only fifth installment to the American Ninja movies, American Ninja 5. The movie opens with two guys working out. What hurts even more than watching that is knowing that that is David Bradley, who was in the last two American Ninja movies, American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt and American Ninja 4 The Annihilation, where in those movies he played Sean Davidson, the third one being him replacing Michael Dudikoff, the fourth one starring with Michael Dudikoff. Yet in this movie he does not play Sean Davidson, he plays Joe Castle. Why would they go that route? Well, because even though this is American Ninja 5, this movie is in no way connected to any of the previous four American Ninja movies. We also see a fighter with apples. That's Tadashi Yamashita, who has a very small role in this. He's not really worth mentioning except for the fact that he is the fight choreographer, and he played the Black Star Ninja in the first American Ninja movie. Joe Castle is also using apples. Okay, if you're done wasting all these apples, can you start making a pie now? After this workout, Joe goes home to get something real quick. His home is a houseboat. And when he gets there, he meets Lisa, who was supposed to tarnish the brass around the boat, but instead she varnished the inside of the boat. Joe can't go in there until it dries. How long will that take?
48 hours.
That's 2 days.
Very good, Joe. Now tell me how long 72 hours is. To make it up to Joe, she offers to make him dinner on her houseboat that night. Joe's in a hurry, though. He has to get back to the gym he owns.
You're gonna love my cooking.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that into you. Then we meet Mr. Glock, who owns Glock Chemicals. He has a scientist working on a pesticide for him. But considering right now he's meeting with an evil Venezuelan general, I'm starting to get suspicious.
Deliver the gas, Mr. Glock.
There you go. The scientist doesn't want him to continue, though. Why? Because Mr. Glock wants him to test this new pesticide on puppies. So Mr. Glock calls in the Viper. Okay. Mr. Glock tells the Viper to go to America and to retrieve Dr. Strobel, the scientist's daughter, as incentive. Gee, I wonder who his daughter is. Then back at Joe's gym, we meet Master Tetsu.
Joe.
Played by Mr. Miyagi himself, Noriyuki Pat Morita. Tetsu is there to drop off his house keys because Joe agreed previously to house sit for him. Great timing! He also brings his nephew, Hiro, who he is legal guardian of, to spring on Joe that he also has to watch, and then he abruptly leaves.
Sayonara, fellas.
By the way, this movie is supposed to be an action comedy. It's supposed to be. Joe goes over to meet Hiro.
I'm Joe.
So?
Hiro is a jerk, but he's played by Lee Reyes, son of Ernie Reyes Sr. and younger brother to Ernie Reyes Jr. Joe has to take Hiro with him to Lisa's houseboat. He's going to cancel dinner until...
Over here, Joe! Come on aboard!
Now he's into her.
Glad you could make it.
So am I.
You know, that's an awfully nice boat for somebody whose job is just working on boats. Like, they make good money, but not that kind of money. After dinner, Lisa goes to get dessert, and she meets...
Who are you?
A friend of your father's.
Yeah, Lisa is Dr. Strobel's daughter. I know, everybody is so shocked. They kept that a really good secret. When Joe notices, he goes after the Viper!
Whoa!
Okay, that was cool. Now Joe has to fight off some ninja! Then more ninja! Oh, okay, that's how this is connected to the other American Ninja movies. They have the multicolored ninjas. While Joe is trying to catch up to the Viper puts Lisa in the back of an ambulance and drives off. But don't worry, Hero is going to catch up in Joe's truck. Ah yes, because if you're a 12-year-old in a high-speed chase, safety first. Joe is able to catch up and jump in the back.
Doing, pull over.
Yeah, we'll lose him!
Well, Joe, Hero's got a point. They get to an airport where Lisa is being loaded up onto a private plane. Joe tells Hero to go call the police, and then he sneaks in through the cargo hold. Instead of actually calling the police, though, Hero sneaks into one of the boxes that's being put in the cargo hold.
Hero.
Joe's not happy.
When we land, you're getting on the first plane back to Florida.
Ah, they're from Florida! That explains why throughout the entire movie, Hero is wearing Dolphins crap. I mean, sort of explains it. I mean, could just like the Jaguars. The Dolphins suck. When the plane lands, Viper and his crew take Lisa away. As far as Joe and Hero, Hero takes off the moment he sees cops.
No!
Not the Doritos!
Welcome to Venezuela.
That's why they are, by the way. So, I guess this is another way they're connected to the American Ninja movies. They're in a country that has no business having ninjas. Because if you go back and look, not one American Ninja movie takes place in either America or Japan. Like the first one, the Philippines, the second one, the Bahamas, third one, they don't really say, and the fourth one, Africa. Now Venezuela. Hero does find Joe in the jail they put him in.
I need you to go find the American Embassy. Bring back some help, okay?
Okay.
In these movies, apparently the American Embassy is always close by. Lisa is brought to her father, Dr. Strobel, who is telling Mr. Glock that he refuses to weaponize this gas.
You have exactly 1 minute to reconsider your position, Doctor.
Hero does get to the American Embassy, but turns out the ambassador works for Mr. Glock. So now Hero has to take it upon himself by driving off with the paddy wagon that Joe is in the back of.
Hiya, bro. Want an apple?
No thanks, don't have a sword. As Hero's driving along, Glock's men show up.
Oh, kid!
And they take care of Joe. But when they open the back, sure, Joe reemerges.
Joe, you're alive!
Yes, he is. Then the Viper appears. Oh, for crying out loud! He also has some ninjas. Okay, now this can't be an American Ninja movie because of all the other colored ninjas they've used in the past. They've never used green.
Joe! No! No! No!
They're taking Hero. So Joe goes after him. Joe catches up and fights off these green ninjas and saves Hero. Just walk it off, dude. After this, Joe is trying to get Hero to go home. But Hero says Joe needs him.
From now on, call me the Lone Ninja.
That title wouldn't have been any worse for this movie than tacking American Ninja 5 onto it. Oh, those guys are back. Joe and Hero get separated, which is actually a good thing because Joe gets set on fire. Now Hero thinks that Joe is dead.
Do you know where the American embassy is?
No te comprendo, niño.
Of course, they're in Venezuela, and these people do not speak English. Joe is okay, though. He's on a rooftop, meditating, trying to find Hero. You know, instead of actually looking. So there you go. Here's another connection to the American Ninja movies. In pretty much every one of them, when things are inconvenient and you should be doing something else, let's just meditate. That'll fix everything. While looking around, though, Hero encounters some men who think that he is a thief. They grab him, and they are about to cut off his little finger.
Good to see you again, kid.
But thanks to the meditation and not the actual looking, Joe found him. So apparently the message in these movies, when things are going really bad, don't handle it, just meditate. These men, though, are starting to re-rally, so Joe and Hero need to get out of there quick. Kids, don't ever do that. When they were coming up with this stunt, I think the actors were like, hey, this seems fishy. Joe and Hero are walking around, and they're actually finally bonding. Whatever. Joe is surrounded. This time they're purple and pissed. While Joe is fighting the purples, the Viper sets his sights on Hero. And while this is happening, Hero has a flashback. The Viper killed Hero's father. Oh, the sweet irony. But Joe saves Hero.
I look forward to our next encounter.
Because Lord knows you can't fight right now. I mean, we still got 45 minutes of this movie left. Later, Hero is talking to Joe about training him in ninjutsu. Joe does not teach children. And Hero's uncle told him why. It's because of Joe's younger brother.
Tetsu told me he was killed in a fight.
Well, this didn't feel like it was just thrown in out of nowhere. So Joe finally does agree to teach Hero.
Clear your mind and think of nothing but the fire burning before you.
Okay, I get that you agreed to teach him, but maybe you could wait until when you get back to the States. As they're meditating, Mr. Miyagi shows up.
Master Tetsu to you.
Oh, well, sorry. Master Tetsu tells Hero to unlock some of the suppressed memories that he's had since before his father died. Keep in mind, his father died when he was 3, so he probably wouldn't have any.
You are being taught the ways of the Shadow Warrior.
Then he warns him about the Viper and leaves. Then Joe and Hero train a little. You guys know that Lisa's still waiting to be saved, right? Joe and Hero find Mr. Glock's fortress and sneak in. Okay guys, that is a terrible disguise because there is no way that these people would believe that these black ninjas are walking around. If you wanted to blend in, you should have had a nice pink or magenta, because then you would have blended right in. Yes, because unlocking suppressed memories of when he was 3 years old and 5 minutes of training have made him a ninja master. By the way, that's not how it works. Joe finds Lisa.
How did you get here?
Hello, you owe us cake, remember? As they're getting her out. That didn't stick. Is that how low budget this movie was? You couldn't afford stabbing? They get away and take Hero to the American Embassy. Lisa and Joe are gonna go get her father. But by the time they get there...
Sorry, kid.
Now they know what we know. And we know that they know what we know. And I say this and it gets confusing because you know it's confusing and I know it's confusing, but they don't know it's confusing and everybody is confused. Joe gets to Hero.
Come on, kid. Let's get to work.
But Glock shows up with the Viper. And more ninjas. White ninjas, because they just had to throw in one more color. After Joe and Hero fight off these white ninjas, the Viper decides it's his turn to get in the action. Really? Now you don't use a puff of smoke like a magician? And Joe and the Viper fight! The Viper is better. But then... this fuels Joe. What a kick! Lisa ends up getting locked in with her father, who they were gonna test the gas on. I.e. kill him because they don't need him anymore. Which they really didn't think through, because if the gas works how it wants and they make a bunch of money, don't you want somebody who's gonna make more gas? I mean, that's just kind of how you do things in the business world. You don't go for one and done, you make more. But Joe and Hero arrive to save the day!
Get the gas mask quickly!
Masked that! And they get out, leaving the bad men inside. But after they get out and lock the door...
Where's Hero?
Man, you are a crappy babysitter. As a matter of fact, you're a crappy house sitter, too. Like, you were supposed to watch his house while he's on vacation. You haven't been there once, dude! I'm sure his azaleas are screaming for some water. Turns out the Viper grabbed Hero and put him on his plane. So Joe goes after him. He does catch up. The Viper, who was flying the plane, gets up and goes into the plane to fight Joe, leaving the plane without a pilot. Good plan! The plane is, though, of course, shaking and going down and everything, so Hero takes over.
No, you were right. You can't learn to fly a plane from that thing.
Apparently, 12-year-old Hero can also fly a plane. The way they explain this is the same way that they explained it in Snakes on a Plane. Hero is very good at video games. That's not how it works! Back to Joe and the Viper.
Now you shall taste my poison.
Did you really just say that? So, Joe and Hero, what tricks do you got up your sleeve now? Okay, I guess. Is that it? Well, good.
Take us home, Bubba.
You got it.
Yes, he's going to be able to land the plane because they cover that in video games. Especially in 93 video games. So there you have it. That's American Ninja 5. I guess you could say this would be the worst of the series, but it's kind of hard to really include it in the series. Truth is, this was never meant to be a sequel. Its original title was American Dragons, but it was made by Canon, who is the same company that made the American Ninja movies, so they felt they could actually get more of them out of there if they put American Ninja 5 on there instead of American Dragons. However, there are still copies out there of American Dragons, and there's been times it's played on television as American Dragons. But it's mostly known as American Ninja 5, the not sequel in the saga. It's something that they do a lot in low-budget movies that they don't expect much out of. They'll give it a title and then decide to give it another title to get it out there. And sometimes, yeah, they will tack it on as a sequel to pre-existing movies just because that does get people to watch it. It worked for me when I was a kid. I had watched the American Ninja movies, saw that they made a fifth one, and was like, okay, sure, and then was like, what? But in no way is it actually really connected. Yes, they have colorful ninjas. Yes, they're in a place where ninjas should not exist. And yes, they had an actor from the American Ninja movie. Technically two. Even though one of them was only in like 5 minutes of the movie and didn't really do anything. But it doesn't even have the same feel as the American Ninja movies. The American Ninja movies were just action movies. This was categorized as an action comedy. But really the only way this is funny is laughing at how ridiculous it is. Now, it does have some high points. Like, it does have some good action. It also has some ridiculous action, some action that's just straight pathetic. But overall, I would say, for an action movie, okay. As far as the humor, some of it's a little bit funny, but not really. Again, most of the humor is just going like, what the hell am I watching here? And this is technically the last in the series because they have not made an American Ninja movie since 1993. I, however, still intend to change that. I will do a Kickstarter and make American Ninja 6, The Vampire Ninjas! So ultimately, I would recommend checking it out just to say you watched every American Ninja movie. And I would recommend it as a movie that is so bad that it's funny and good, and you can sit around with your friends and make fun of it. But just try to keep in mind, it's not really an American Ninja movie. In fact, the only reason I did decide to go ahead and review this one is to round out all the American Ninja movies, especially because the American Ninja movie reviews have been my most popular videos, especially number 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you did, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of American Ninja 5. Tell me which American Ninja movie was your favorite. Tell me which one of the reviews was your favorite. Love you guys.